Hello everybody, been a few weeks since I managed to record a Modern League here, but I'm going to run through one today with, as you can see, a blue-black mill deck. So me and some of my mates are going to GP Madrid this weekend, so that's Team Unified Modern, and one of the decks that we're taking is this mill deck. It's a pretty simple deck, so you're looking to make the opponent have 0 cards left in their library. You do that with efficient mill cards like Glimpse the Unthinkable, which mills 10 for 2 mana, Mind Funeral, which mills until they reveal 4 lands, so that could be anything between 4 and probably about 20 cards normally. Archive Trap, mill 13, but if they've searched their library this turn, then you can cast it for 0 instead of for 5. And we have also Breaking and Entering, which mills 8 cards for 2 mana, so a little bit less efficient than Glimpse the Unthinkable. You've also got Mesmeric Orb, so whenever a permanent becomes untapped for either player, then they get to mill a card. We've got a couple of ways of turning on Archive Traps, so turning on, by that I mean making our opponent search their library. So either they have fetch lands, which a lot of modern decks do, or Field of Ruin forces the opponent to search their library. So if we can sacrifice this, blow up one of their lands, they have to go and search for something else. In order to speed up the combo, we've got things like Fraying Sanity, so this basically doubles the amount of milling that any of our cards do. And then Trapmaker's Snare is basically Archive Trap numbers 5 and 6. So it's a 2 mana way at instant speed to go and get a trap card. So this is one of them. There's also some sneaky sideboard tech in Ravenous Trap. So against graveyard decks, you can use a Trapmaker's Snare to go search up Ravenous Trap post sideboard, which can be pretty useful. Other ways that we have to stay in the game, so ways to survive, we've got 4 Fatal Push, just as quick removal. Surgical Extraction can cheese some wins against things like Storm, so if you can get a Grape Shot game 1, that could just be game over. Against things like Valakut decks, you can just take Valakut or Primeval Titan, and then they basically can't win the game. You've also got Crypt Incursion. If you're playing against a creature-heavy deck or against Burn, for example, then gaining 6, 9, 12 life can just be game over there. I almost forgot to mention the greatest mill creature of all time, Mr. Hedron Crab. 1 mana. Whenever you play a land, you get to mill them for 3. So that, plus a load of fetch lands, plus Field of Ruin. Pretty decent synergy there. The final card in the main deck is Visions of Beyond, which has beautiful art, but basically in this deck, half of the time it's just Ancestral Recall, which is, I've heard, a pretty good card. Postboard, against creature-heavy decks, you've got things like Ensnaring Bridge, so you can just stop them from attacking if you can keep your hand empty. Profane Memento does wicked things against any of like the Coco decks, or even against Burn it can be pretty useful. We mentioned Ravenous Trap already. You've got Damnation for the bigger creature matchups that you can't hit with Fatal Push. And then you have 3 Set Adrift. So with things like Mesmeric Orb and all of these fetch lands, you tend to get a pretty stock graveyard yourself. So this is just a sort of an answerable way to deal with things like there are some big ones in the Witchbane Orb, or things like Leyline of Sanctity. I've also been got a few times with 3 mana Gideon, making an emblem so the opponent can't lose the game. Just been able to put Gideon back on top of their library and then milling it so you can win through that emblem is pretty useful. So let's just sort this all back out again. I think I'm now ready to jump into a league, so I think I've already got one open here. Let's get playing, and I'll see you in the game. Okay, here we go with Blue-Black Mill. We've won the die roll because we're great at Magic. Okay, we have cards. These cards look pretty acceptable. If this is any sort of aggro matchup, then we're probably screwed, but I'm going to keep it. Hope we can combo out before our opponent does here. Turn 1, I'm probably going to play the Sheldock Isle because I want to get these Fraying Sanities down on time, so I want to make sure my third land drop is untapped. See what our opponent does here, considering they're 7 and they keep it. Okay, so let's see what we get in the hideaway. Archive Trap seems like a good card. I'll take that one. Okay, put the rest on the bottom in any order. Your turn. Mountain of snow-covered variety, so this is probably Skred, and Relic adds to that possibility. So yes, let's pay some life, and let's just glimpse you. Things like the trap are probably not great here, because I don't see our opponent doing much fetching. I also don't see them killing us particularly quickly, so Fraying Sanity could just be the absolute nuts here. Yeah, okay. Relic away my glimpse. That's fine. Yeah, so we're definitely playing against Skred here. Scrying Sheets is the ultimate giveaway, if we didn't already know it. Okay, opponent does nothing, so let's just put a curse on you. I put a curse on you. Eat my Fraying Sanity. And then, unfortunately, we don't actually have a way to mill our opponent next turn, which could get a bit annoying. Let's just hope also there's no Blood Moon, because this Archive Trap is basically the only gas we have at the moment. At least we had a basic island, so we can cast everything in our hand. Although these don't really do very much at the moment. Let's see. A second Fraying Sanity should be great because they stack really well. So the first one says, at the beginning of each end step, Enchanted Player puts the top X cards of their library into their graveyard, where X is the number that went in this turn. So if one card went in during their turn, as in if they cracked a fetch, one card would go into their graveyard. Then the second one will see that the first one has already milled some extra cards, and then mill for. So effectively it would go mill 1, and then the second one would mill 2. But let's just get this down. Our opponent's still not really doing anything, so we're just going to fetch for a Watery Grave tapped. Next turn, Mind Funeral is probably just lethal. So they mill 0 and then mill 0. Oh, what have they got here? They crack the Relic, which is fine. They just want to draw something, anything. Okay, Snow-Covered Mountain. There could be Chandra or Koth. It's Koth. We're getting hit for 4, which is fine because, as I say, I think we just win this turn. Okay, yeah, take the 4. Yeah, Mind Funeral you. Okay, we hit 11 cards, 12 cards milled, which means 12, 24, 36 more mills, and they've only got 26 cards left in their library, so that's just game. They do not get to their draw step. Yeah, so obviously double Fraying Sanity and a very slow draw from our opponent is not normal, but that's the basic plan of the deck. And our opponent realizes they're dead and scoops it up. Okay. Against Skred, I think Set Adrift could be useful against any troublesome Blood Moons. What else would we want? I don't really think any of the rest of this is useful, so we can cut. I think Crypt Incursion isn't great here, and also The snares aren't great, the archive traps aren't great. We'll bring one of those back in and then bring in the bridges. Think we can run it like that. We've got quite a lot of dead cards ourselves in this matchup, but that might be the best combination. Okay, let's see what our opponent can come up with. Okay, back for game 2. Opponent would like to be on the play, presumably. Yep. This hand is average. So it's one land is tricky. I think I'm going to ship that just to be safe here. Okay, yeah, this hand is much better, so we'll keep this one. So we've got a load of 3-drops in hand, which is a little bit suboptimal, but we'll go Fraying Sanity on 3, Mind Funeral on 4, and then drop Ensnaring Bridge. And hopefully that should be good enough. Our opponent's gone to 6 as well, and they scry to the top. That looks like a 2-drop, so we'll keep that. Okay, lead with Shaldock Isle again, and we hit Fraying Sanity. So we could just end up with 2 double Fraying Sanity games here. Mindstone, Mindstone. Okay. Let's play a basic and drop Mesmeric, but then we get to mill our opponent for 2, which they weren't expecting. Okay, that's a good one to mill. We don't really want to have to deal with Pia and Kiran Nala. So, expecting our opponent to drop a Planeswalker here. They're probably just deciding between Chandra and Koth. Nope, Molten Rain to blow up our land. Okay, that's fine, I suppose. Let's mill you for 10. And we've hit our basics, which is nice. So we hit 3 good Planeswalkers there, which is pretty sweet. I'm not sure our opponent wins this. I don't think their clock is fast enough. So they're down to 36 cards in library already. And I've played the Skred. There's some videos on my channel about me playing Skred, and you're probably looking to win turn 7 or 8, unless you get a really nice draw. Storm Breath's a pretty good draw here, but I don't see it ever being able to attack again after you get this Ensnaring Bridge down. Ooh. Okay. Let's get this down. You can't attack. Next turn we can drop at least 1 thing, maybe 2, but the opponent mills 6 just on their upkeep. Down to 30 cards, 29 when they draw. Effectively playing a burn deck here. So if her opponent's down to 29, then they're effectively at like 11 or 12 life in a burn deck. Okay. I'm not sure why they're waiting on this. Okay, cool. So our opponent, I'm not sure how they can get this Storm Breath into attack again, because we should always be able to drop at least 1 card out of our hand each time, unless they Stone Rain us again, or Molten Rain. Okay, Mountain. What else? Are you trying to think whether or not you have any outs? Because I'm not sure what they are. Like smashed to smithereens or something. No, another Molten Rain. That could be annoying. But we've got this Hedron Crab we can definitely play out this turn. Just make sure we stay below 4 cards in hand. Oh, that's nice. Play the Crab. Mill you. So when this monster deals damage equal to the number of cards in their hand, so at the moment they can do 2 to us when they get to 7 mana. So we don't need to be too worried about that just yet. Okay, down to 22 cards in hand. Or in library. If they had 22 cards in hand, they would probably be playing a very different deck. Okay, there's the 7 mana. I'm gonna Anger of the Gods to get rid of the crab. No. Pia and Kiran. Sure. So that's another few points of burn they can get in here. So for 3 mana they can do 2, 4, 6, so 9 mana they can 6 us. What is this? Are you throwing something at my face right now? No, okay, they're killing my crab. That's quite mean. You're a very mean person. Okay. Watery Grave, tapped. And now we can drop the Fraying Sanity. They've got 6 tapped permanents, so they get milled a lot next turn. A land here would be nice, so we can go down to 1 card in hand. We get a couple of things milled. Probably not relevant. Slam that. Slam the land. Okay, so we get hit for 2, and then they can do another 4 to us, so we're effectively at 3. Dead. No, they can't draw land and lightning bolt because they've got 0 cards in hand. Okay, Mesmeric Orb, we mill 6. So this should be the last turn they get. Yeah, last turn they probably needed to throw their Mind Stone at us instead of throwing it at the crab. So we go to 7 here. They probably needed their out to be a lightning bolt or something here. So if they'd drawn lightning bolt instead of a land, they could have shot us down to 4 and then killed us with the 2 Thopters before their draw step. Probably pretty minor because they didn't draw it, but that was probably their best out. Okay. Each of these little Mesmeric Orb triggers resolve. And now we just Mind Funeral them for almost guaranteed lethal. they would have to have 4 lands on top of their deck for this not to be instantly lethal. And if they do, we just crack the Delta and kill a creature, and then that's another item that's gone to their graveyard. I have looked at the cards, thank you. Okay, we pass the turn and win in upkeep. Don't we? Yeah? Because they can only do 1 to us with this. Yeah, they can't do everything. So I think we're good. Pass the turn. Mill you for another 9, even though there's nothing left. What is this? Monstrous now. Do 1 to us. So we go to 6. Untap, they can do 4 to us, so we go to 2 and survive. They've got nothing in their graveyard which is relevant, do they? No. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Doesn't look like it. Just throw some Thopters at our face. Okay. Yep. Cool, cool, cool. So killing the crab was probably the wrong decision at this point then. Okay, and we win. Excellent news. I will see you in round 2.